Pet training. Some people love it, most people hate it, but at the end, almost all of us need to do it. Welcome to the Zarathaxx YouTube channel, and in today's video is going to be the long-awaited pet training video that I have for you guys today. There's going to be some very obvious tips about the pet training. I'm going to be explaining to it as if you are a kindergartner, so if you have absolutely no idea how to hatch pets, this will definitely help you out here. However, even if you are very experienced, even if you've trained a lot of pets in your day, there will definitely be some things for you in here that I have explained, such as some extremely nuanced tips and some things that have helped me out, especially starting this game brand new. Without further ado, grab your energy gear and let's get training. When you start playing the game in Wizard101, you will spawn right here in Unicorn Way, and of course, you will not be level 76, you will be level 1. Before you start yelling at me in the comments telling me how that's
very obvious and that you're unsubscribing from my channel,
allow me to explain the significance of noting such an obvious detail. Every single time you level up in the game, so when you're doing your quests, your side quests, and you're going back and forth between these NPCs, your experience will fill up, and once it entirely fills up, of course your character level will increase, but also your energy in the bottom left hand corner will go from empty to full. Hello there, me from the edit. On the topic of refreshing your energy when you level up and just leveling up in general, I wanted to add something here really quickly. When you do your main quest in Wizard101, upon also receiving experience, your pet will also gain experience as well. This only works for your actively equipped pet, so if you want to do some janky things with gear sets and when you're turning them in, that is fine as well. I also just wanted to add that obviously your main quest is what you do to continue the story in the main game, but the side worlds of Grizzleheim and Wisteria, or Pigswick Academy, are also labeled as main quests and will still give you the pet experience for completing them. This also goes for Crab Alley and the Catacombs, which are technically both under Wizard City, but the game categorizes these as main quests. So again, you will receive the pet experience for completing these areas as well. Of course, if your energy is already full, you will notice nothing, but I say this for a very, very key detail. When you finish Unicorn Way, part of your main quest will have you going to Sergeant Muldoon in the Old Town in Wizard City. Sergeant Muldoon will hand you a quest that then gives you your very first pet in this game. This pet, by all means, is not very good. It has really lackluster stats, but you will enter this little dungeon right here, and it will afterwards give you your pet. It will teach you how to use pet mode, it will show you about your energy and all that jazz. Relating what I said from earlier, each and every single time you level up, your energy will refresh. So you will want to take your new pet, or if you transfer a pet from a different character, you will want to go to the pet pavilion to be spending your energy on raising your pet every level. Since this wizard I have on this account is the only wizard on it, and I have not had time to farm couch potatoes or evil magma peas or anything that would give me a lot of mega snacks, I have strictly relied on the bazaar and using all of the pet snacks that I've acquired through questing to help level up my pets. Now that might be a really steep ask because as you can see my pet is currently epic and he requires 2000 XP to reach the final talent level of Mega. But even doing the little technique of coming here every time I leveled up, I was able to get 2 of my pets to Mega and a bunch of others having different levels of XP on them anyways. If you are in the middle of questing and you don't quite feel like you are ready to go back and train your pet at that exact moment, they released this feature on your experience bar called the Lock Your Level feature. As the name suggests, you just click on it and any future experience you gain will turn into overflow experience. And once you unlock your level, you will then gain all of that experience you have overflowed. Just be careful not to go too much over that limit because you will skip levels and you will miss out on that energy gain if you go too much above the level. But yeah, that is one of the easiest techniques I have. It's what's gotten me a lot of mega pets and really high level pets, and it's given me the ability to train my pets on a fresh account. So definitely keep that in mind while you are questing in this game. It will be a huge, huge time saver and money saver because you will not have to spend a lot of extra money on energy elixirs that a lot of people get to help speed up their pet training process anyway. Something I feel like a lot of later or endgame players tend to forget if they are trying to give advice to newer players or haven't been a new player themselves in a while is the fact that you can purchase very high rank snacks from the bazaar itself. If you find yourself in abundance of gold after questing, after doing whatever you are doing to gather a lot of gold, you can head over to the bazaar and click the buy reagents tab, and then click on pet snacks. You can sort the pet snacks by a lot of different things, but the one you want to focus on is the rank tab. Click on it twice to show the highest rank, and you will find the killer tomato and the shanta pudding. On the far right, you will also notice the cost tab, and whichever one costs less is the one that you want to pick out. Again, if you have a lot of extra gold and you do not mind spending it, you can purchase the entire stock if you want, but these will give you a lot of snacks to use that are going to give you a fair amount of XP to give to your pet after you train it. Now, I will be the first to say that the shanta pudding or the killer tomatoes will not give you as much experience for your pet as, let's say, the mega snacks that the evil magma peas or the couch potatoes provide you, but they definitely are a start and they will get you going as long as you need to train your pet. Speaking of seeds, if you head to Charlie, the gardener in the Oasis in Crocotopia, who's located in the back left next to the Pyramid of the Sun, he can actually sell you the prickly bear cactus seed. Now, while these guys are definitely not couch potatoes or evil magma peas, they have a chance to drop mega snacks upon their regular harvest and elder harvest and are fairly cheap, and more often than not will also drop a duplicate seed of themselves during their harvest or their elder harvest. So if you're looking for a cheap and cost-effectively alternative for you, if you haven't gotten around to farming the couch potatoes or evil magma peas, these guys are definitely a very, very solid option for you as well. Because I am playing Wizard101 on the PC edition, and this has been a long established feature, if I wanted to find a new pet, I could walk up to the hatchmaking kiosk in the pet pavilion of Wizard City and browse a pet and easily find a pet that is to my liking with the desired stats that I have, or even search for those stats and call it a day. That's how I got this pet and how I started off my pet training on this character. I feel like a lot of people might have forgotten, but when the console servers first aired for this game, there was no people to put pets into the hatchmaking kiosk. Nobody had a pre-existing account, nobody could have transferred a pet over, so everything in there is going to be completely fresh, and people are going to be making their pets from the ground up. One of the most real and genuine pieces of advice that I could honestly give you is to go into the crown shop into the pets tab and look for a pet that at least offers you a blade card or an enhanced version of your AoE card, if that is something that you are looking for. For example, if you are a storm or an ice wizard, these pets in the crown shop give you a guaranteed ice blade and storm blade card, and these are very useful because they will stack in addition to your current blade that you also have. If you don't want to spend 10,000 crowns on that, you can very freely, like this one for example, the Phantasmanian Imp is about 4,000 crowns less and gives another Stormblade. So pick your choosing, make sure you are choosing something good. But honestly, that would be where I would start if I were playing this game on the console editions. If you do not want to spend a dime over just the membership cost, or the crowns that you are spending are going to be going into the zones because you are a crowns player, keep in mind that when they run the decathlon events, so for example, there's the Storm one, the very ending result will be a pet. And for someone who might not want to spend as much time into trying to get some good stats, these come with, Storm Dealer, Storm Giver. These are really sought after pet talents that you would often need multiple hatches to get onto your pet anyway, and these pets just start off with them. Yes, it will take a lot of work to get this end result. This is an entirely separate beast and can of worms that I am opening here, but it is an option if you do not want to spend money on those crown shop pets. If you do not want to spend the crowns on the crown shop pets, you do not want to spend the time farming the decathlon, the last thing I would say is there are bosses that drop pets in this game. They drop crowns pets, they drop other pets that might be desirable. There are also pet vendors in each and every single world that might have a pet that you would want. But otherwise, especially if you are on the console edition, I would just wait for other people to do the work for you, put their pet into the kiosk, and then go from there with the hatching process. I've watched a few other pet training guides before, and a lot of people explaining how they would go about doing the pet training process, but the majority of them say that you should get a pet that is adult with the talents that you want, and keep hatching this pet, and then training your next pet to adult, taking that pet, training it to adult, and then basically you hatch out all of the bad talents from your old pet until you have a pet that looks identical in the stat tree to the pet that you want to get your current pet looking like. That was a very hard tongue twister. In my experience, if you have the gold, if you have the immense amount of, energy elixirs and snacks to do that, you are more than welcome to do that. But for the people that might be starting this process from ground zero, for the people that might not have all of those options with the couch potato snacks and all that stuff, my honest advice would be get a very solid place, get some of your talents looking like the pet that you've hatched with. But at the end of the day, RNG is going to try and bite you in the ass, whether you have a perfect talent tree, whether you have one that has a few of your talents. I just got super lucky with this pet that it had talents that I was able to use. But other than that, you could hatch the perfect pet and it could have the worst possible stats on it. So at the end of the day, unfortunately, when you do train your pet, it is going to be up to the RNG gods and goddesses of this world to determine what your pet gets. What I was explaining earlier with the little talent tree, on the bottom here, there's a full talent view, and each of your pet's talents come with these little dots next to it. So you can see Pain Giver has 3 dots, Balance Boon has no dots, so on and so forth. With a new pet, when you hatch it, you can almost predict the stats if you get really good at it to what your pet may have, what your pet has in its tree, if you know what to look out for, if you know the amount of dots that your talent has, and what the pet you have originally hatched with also has in its tree as well. When I say tree, as you can see here, every pet starts off with 10 random talents that you have either hatched for or the pet has gotten itself. And when you level up your pet, it will receive one of the 10 talents and one of the 10 derby talents. The pet derby is almost entirely irrelevant in this game. These talents will not aid your pet or your wizard stats in normal PvE or PvP content. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is just up to RNG when you level up your pet to teen, adult, ancient, epic, and mega, whether they will get the common stat at the top of the screen or the ultra rare at the bottom. It is genuinely up to the will of the gods whether they want to give you the stats that you want. Genuinely, my final piece of advice that I want to give is to not yourself and not go too crazy over what talents your pet has, over what it looks like, over what you're doing with it, especially with the first few couple of hatches. If you've kept along with my solo balance series, you would know that this is the first pet that I hatched with on my character, and you can see, especially when it goes to like unbalancer, this pet was not looking very good overall, but I stuck with it. I ended up hatching this pet directly after, and this was my second hatch ever, and it ended up giving me very usable and very competitive and very good stats for my wizard to use. A lot of higher level wizards or like meta people in this game would look at this pet and say it is not as optimized as it could be. They would say get more damage talents on it, socket this jewel, do that. But at the end of the day, especially if you are new to this game and you are new to pet hatching, it is going to save you a lot of headaches and pain and snacks and energy elixirs and stuff like that if you learn to be okay with a couple of the good talents and just be patient with pet hatching and be patient with the experience, because like I said earlier, it is definitely just up to chance whether you get a good pet or not. So be patient with it. Don't go too crazy. That's all I have to say. The final piece of advice that I have as we head into my outro here is that you can purchase gear from the bazaar that, yes, in fact makes you look like a bird, but also will provide you with a little bit of extra energy. If you do Winter Tusk as well, this drop will be very common amongst the enemies, but they have level 56 gear that will provide you with energy and also a ring at a later level that will also be able to boost you with that. Last thing to keep in mind is while yes, pets can offer you a lot of damage stats or stats to help your character out, they can also provide you with energy and things to help you out with some of the later endgame content if that is something that you are interested in as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have enjoyed and you learned something new in today's video. If you are new to this game, if you have joined us on the console side of things, I would love to help you guys out and create more guides on things. I've already released a guide on my channel about how to level up quickly. So if you would like to learn that, if you would like how to get those sweet energy refreshes, please be sure to check that out in the top right hand corner of this video. That will be all I have for today. Thanks for hanging out once again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!